This is Fred Richani and Scott Anderson of TSC News here to recap WWE Clash of Champions, the first Monday Night Raw branded pay-per-view of the new brand extension era. And this pay-per-view was pretty good, but a little all over the place. And I gotta say, at the end of the night, I am feeling fatigued. Extremely fatigued. Now, not only am I gonna watch the debates tomorrow night, because I am an American and I am exercising my right to vote in a few days, but I am just so tired of all this WWE programming. If you're a wrestling fan, if you're a hardcore wrestling fan, this is a great time for you. You got 3-hour Raw. You got a 2-hour Smackdown. You got a 1-hour NXT. If you haven't watched the Cruiserweight Classic, which was the best show of the year, you could go binge watch it right now. You got pay-per-views from Raw. You got pay-per-views from SmackDown. You got main event. You have WWE Superstars. And then if you're a huge wrestling fan and want to go beyond the confines of WWE, you have New Japan World. You have New Japan Access. You have Lucha Underground and El Rey, if you just got El Rey like I did. You have TNA Impact Wrestling on Pop TV. You have Ring of Honor and Sinclair or Comet. Hell, maybe you even got CMLL. There's a lot of wrestling to keep up with these days, which is both good and bad. Good, well, sort of good, if you're a WWE fan and you're WWE, because if you keep making money, even if you're oversaturating your content, you know what? Whatever. But if you're TNA, if you're Ring of Honor, if you're Lucha Underground, if you're another company that's going to rise from the ashes to try to carve their niche in the wrestling world, it is a whole lot harder because there's record low ratings, there's low fan interest, things are a bit stale, rosters are thin, and while WWE can certainly turn it around, and who knows, maybe they'll get hot around Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and then WrestleMania time, at the end of the day, when the standard bearer of the wrestling business is hot, the rest of the companies within that respective industry can follow suit. You look at that with MMA. Back in the day, you had UFC. Then you had a bunch of other secondary organizations that were doing well. And, of course, they were run by idiots and then put out of business by themselves or by the UFC or both. I'm just not feeling all these pay-per-views. I'm not feeling all this programming. I get that WWE's still making money. I get that they're going to be making money for a long, long time. But you look at the numbers, they're eroding. They are eroding. And it's going to get to a point where they may still make money, but they're going to be making less money. And they're going to say, holy crap, what do we do? And I think at some point, they're going to have to pull back a little bit, even if that sacrifices the bottom line. And I think these pay-per-views right here, these matches on these pay-per-views are kind of a casualty of that. You could have Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles tear the house down, or Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens tear the house down. But, man, I was tired. I felt like the fans in attendance were tired, although they did get up for a number of the matches. I'm fatigued, Scott. What about you?
I'm sick, so I'm definitely fatigued. that kind of worked. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I guess the one good thing is that if you do pay the $9.99 a month, like most of us, I hate to say the word, but dummies do, because you get a free month every month anyway, you at least get your money's worth with 2 pay-per-views, with, like you said, main event, with superstars, with a lot of the extra programming they have. So in that aspect, it's a great thing. But, we talked off the air real brief, and yeah, it's becoming too much. Just 2 weeks ago, we had a pay-per-view. We had another one tonight. We're going to have another one in 2 weeks. Then 3 weeks after that. 19 of these things a year, not to go along with, I'm sure they're going to have special events, live events. It is a lot. I DVR Ring of Honor, not off Comment, but off the local channel that I get, and try to keep up with that, try to keep up with Lucha as much as possible. The good thing about those shows, like you said, at least, they're an hour, so it's easy to watch. You skip through the commercials, 44 minutes. NXT, I have to go back and even watch that again this week. So it's definitely a lot of programming to watch and try to keep up on. And then, it becomes to a point where it gets watered down, unfortunately. And right now, I don't want to say it's watered down, but it's hard for, Raw and SmackDown to have these pay-per-views with the lack of talent or the lack of depth, I guess, is the better word.
The lack of over talent, because they've
Right.
done such a bad job with pushing a lot of guys. Now they've gotten some guys over to a certain level, but as far as needle movers, as far as real draws, I mean the list is thin.
And here's a quick question. I know we haven't recapped a whole lot, but where was Sami Zayn at in the main event? It just doesn't make any sense.
He was recovering from a code breaker. Maybe he was a closet Jets fan and read the stat line of
for.
Maybe listen. A lot of Jets fans like yourself, I know, are sick right now because Ryan Fitzpatrick threw not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 interceptions. So
Hey,
I can feel your pain.
You know the last guy to do that?
Who?
Peyton Manning. So there you have it.
Really?
Yes, sir.
6 interceptions in a game?
Yep.
Holy crap! I wouldn't have expected that. But
so it's okay. It's okay.
Hey, if it's good enough for Peyton Manning.
I live closer to Philadelphia, so I just hop on my Wentz wagon or the shirt I showed you, Wentz-a-mania.
Yeah, Carson Wentz doing his thing in Philly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it must be nice, right, to just be able to hop on a bandwagon and leave. I can't do that here in New York, New Jersey, because I could hop off the Giants bandwagon, but then the Jets bandwagon's just as bad today. So
yeah, well, it's green for a reason, and not to go into football, but just keep in mind, last quarterback that went like this for the Eagles was 27-2, Nick Foles, and you see how that went. So,
yeah, well,
I like Wentz. He looks good. He looks legit, but let's see what happens.
Right now, Carson Wentz, he looks like a Finn Balor when he first came in on the main roster, but he could end up like a Roman Reigns.
That's more like Jimmy Garoppolo, but now that we're talking football references and wrestling, I think it just kind of proves.
I know. Some European fans that listen to us are probably like, "Why are they talking about Janine Garoppolo?" So, yeah.
So would that help?
Yeah. Anyway. So we had Clash of Champions. This was a long show. It was a pretty good show, but just a lot of filler, some head scratching booking here, and an ending that was kind of awkward.
Filler. I don't think it was a lot of filler.
Not a lot, but it was just
matches. But yeah, not a lot of backstage stuff. It was just.
Yeah, I mean, they had some really good matches. I mean, there are a few good matches, some that were just kind of there. I think some of this, you know what the problem is? A lot of the stuff we've seen before. Even though it was really good, a lot of the stuff we've seen before.
There was a goof that I'll get to. Sure. I'm pretty sure it was a goof. It was right before the Cruiserweight match, but, as we get to the recap, I guess
All right, well, let's start from the beginning. We had Nia Jax on the pre-show destroy Alicia Fox. Alicia got some offense in, but didn't matter. Hit the Samoan drop, got the pin. We had the start of the main card with the New Day and the Club for the tag team titles for the 1,000th time. The announcers made a big deal about how the Club could be the first tag team since the Dudley Boys and the Steiners to hold the IWGP and WWE tag team titles in their careers. And what I liked about this stat line was Michael Cole just put it out there. It was very sporty. He didn't come off like a New Japan fanboy like Moro. Way too many times I listen to Moro, and this guy just tries to throw in a New Japan reference. It's like, oh my God, I didn't put in a New Japan reference. I got to reference Shibata. Oh my God, I got to reference Yano. I got to reference this and that and this and that and Misawa and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, no disrespect to any of these guys, I don't think most of the WWE Universe knows who they are. I mean, some of the hardcores might that watch the network, but I feel like the guy just forces these Japan references and says, look how smart I am, mamma mia. Whereas Michael Cole, okay, I actually like Michael Cole's commentary in the brand extension era more than Moro. Because this dude is professional. This dude hasn't been saddled with some stupid jokes and bad material like he has in the past. He's got Corey Graves, who's making him look really good. And when he drops facts, it makes sense. He drops the fact about how Charlotte has won on pay-per-view and is undefeated in a title match. He's dropped the fact about the IWGP and WWE Tag Team titles, how they're successful in Japan. I mean, he doesn't just force it down your throat, all these facts. Like, no, he just, when there's an opening, he puts it out there. That's it. Whereas I feel like with Moro, even though Moro's an extremely talented commentator, I feel like with a lot of the stuff he's done in wrestling lately, just he tries to squeeze in so many analogies or pop culture references or Japan references, and it gets irritating. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but it just gets irritating. I think he's talented, obviously. His career speaks for itself, but just, please, sometimes less is more. Much like what I saw tonight. The suicide dives, the flips. Sometimes less is more. And less New Day club matches, the better too. Because while this started out hot and was pretty good, nothing we haven't seen before. And at the end, the New Day hit the midnight hour and got the pin on Anderson. The club, they're not even the comedy club anymore. I don't know what they are. The club is closed for renovation. They're done. Where's the credibility? You spend an exorbitant amount of money. An exorbitant amount of money to get the Bullet Club away from New Japan Pro Wrestling, away from TNA Impact Wrestling, away from Ring of Honor and other competitors. You bring them in. Okay. You righted the ship with AJ Styles when it started out a little rocky. That's cool. I'm happy he's WWE champion. He's doing a great job on SmackDown. But Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, these guys were one of the most over tag teams in the world. And what do you do? What do you do? You have them lose again to the New Day. Now, if you don't want to beat the New Day, here's a solution. You see the SmackDown tag team division? It's garbage. Do you see the SmackDown World Champion? It's AJ Styles. AJ Styles used to be with Bullet Club. Why not bring the club to SmackDown? And who knows, maybe they'll do that. But you could do that before beating them again. Because now, they're just geeks. And Carl Anderson, last time I checked, is a damn talented tag team and singles wrestler who could be an asset. And Lord knows they need guys with some credibility on that damn roster.
Let me interrupt you real quick, Fred.
All right.
This says, I think I tweeted you the other day, this wasn't a Vince McMahon creation, so it doesn't matter. And I know he has Kevin Owens and this and that.
And he has AJ Styles, who's holding the linear championship.
But keep that aside. The house show results last night from Hershey, PA. The opening match, Carl Anderson lost to Neville. I will let you continue.
Well, I like Neville, and Neville honestly should be pushed a lot better, but yeah, I agree.
It's a house show. I get it. The faces win. It helps with the kids, blah, blah, blah. Which reminds me, Cesaro beat Sheamus, but that's a whole nother subject.
Oh, yeah. They had house show matches, but they didn't count.
Right. But anyway, yeah. Look, I know it's a house show. I know Neville's decent. He's a great worker, and with Anderson, it might work. But like you just said, these guys were the top tag team probably in the world at one point, and now they're just two geeks like most every other tag team in WWE. Not good. Not
good at all. I would, I don't know. Not feeling it at all. Not feeling it at all. I think you know what? If they had lost at SummerSlam, which they did. And they wanted a rematch or something. I don't know. You could have done something where they could have just lost at SummerSlam. At least they would have only lost once to the New Day. And then you could have written them off, have them be free agents, have them help AJ Styles win the WWE title, run amok on SmackDown. I'm not saying they can't still go to SmackDown or they won't still go to SmackDown and run amok. Maybe they'll even win the tag titles there. But it's SmackDown once again getting devalued and getting another loser or two or three. Because he just had Jack Swagger lose to Jinder Mahal, and now he's facing Baron Corbin, who for some strange reason is beating freaking Apollo Crews, who's more talented in his leg than in Baron's entire body. So now you're going to get the club on SmackDown. That's what I predict. That's what I'm going to predict. Within a month, you're going to get the club on SmackDown, which is cool. It'll be entertaining, but still. It's not like they're going to another company. It's not like they're going to another country. It's not like this is the territory era, right? Where they only had regional TV and there was no real national wrestling show and you go to another territory. Like, no. This is the same company. These are the same guys. If they go to SmackDown, they're still the same guys that lost to New Day like 4 or 5 times.
Just at this point, put them on NXT, let them build back up.
I know.
Which is a disgrace to say, but my gosh.
I know. It's ridiculous. And I know the New Day's making money and they're marketable and good for them, but I just feel like I don't think the New Day needs to tag titles to sell merch.
Well, they're going to beat Demolition. That's the whole key to this.
I get that. So if you're going to do that, why not protect the club and send them to SmackDown before you beat them again?
Well, all right. Let's see. You want to send the club, Cesaro, Sami Zayn to SmackDown. Who do you send to Raw?
I never said send Sami Zayn in. Well, I guess.
But I'm saying it. Add them to because everybody says Sammy's getting kind of left off in the shuffle.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what? Well, Vince loves this tall guy. Who? Yeah. Hey, Baron Corbin, whatever.
All right, Baron Corbin. Yeah, Apollo. Well, see, I don't know. You don't really have to if you can bring up Joe and Nakamura. You can offset that.
Oh, God, no. They need... One of those guys needs to go to SmackDown.
But they're not gonna.
Yeah.
Just Emma needs to go to SmackDown, and yet it looks like she's going to go to Raw. So Luke Harper apparently is going to go to Raw. Spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Who knows? We got TJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick for the Cruiserweight title. TJP came out with this cool 8-bit Nintendo theme-like song. It was awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Brian Kendrick came out to his usual theme song with the cool jacket and the leopard print. Pretty good match. They missed a couple spots, including a neck breaker from TJP, but kudos to the announcers. They said that TJP had to pull Kendrick's hair to bring him down. This was a fun match. I wouldn't say it was a great match. Pretty good match, but it was very WWE style. And I think when you're introducing these guys, especially when a lot of the fans don't know them, you need something that's a little bit different from the usual WWE style. Kendrick, WWE style wrestler, he's a great worker. Nothing against him. But I really feel like a guy like Grand Metalik or Cedric Alexander or some of these other guys would have been great for TJP's first title defense. Or you know what? If Kota Ibushi doesn't want to resign, you could at least sign him to wrestle tonight. He could have had a great match with TJP, a rematch with TJP. That would have torn the house down. Granted, Kota Ibushi might get over, and then you might be forced to offer him a lot more money. But, you could have had TJP beat him in a great match. Kota Ibushi could always bring him back down the road, and at least you get TJP over. Whereas in this match, I think both guys kind of got themselves over, but the crowd was quiet. There was some "Let's go TJ," TJP, "Let's go Kendrick," TJP chants, doing chants. It was all right, but I think it could have been better. And ultimately, Mega TJP won with the knee bar. A lot of really good counters here. Like I said, some missed spots, but both men worked really hard. And afterwards, Brian Kendrick offered his hand. They shook hands, and then Brian Kendrick headbutted TJP and walked out. Well, limped out. So kudos to them. Both guys sold pretty well. There was a little funny moment where after TJP did tap him out, he ran up to the second rope and posed, and then I think he remembered, oh crap, I should probably sell my neck, because that's what Kendrick was working on the whole match. He was like, yeah, oh. So that was kind of cool.
My two takeaways from this real quick. One, I understand why WWE did it, but to call the bully choke the captain's hook, horrible. I know that happened on Monday. I get it.
You know what? Kendrick kind of does look like a pirate, though.
He does, but horrible. And second of all, before the match, when they were interviewing TJP, if you notice, he went up to the gorilla position. Okay, cool. Kendrick came out first. So, it's a small minor detail, but if that's the case, then you're thinking, all right, well, Kendrick's already there. Perkins is there. Why don't they just start fighting right there?
Because you know what? It's like MMA, all right? He had to get Vaselined up, and they had to check his hands
but,
and
it's
everything.
Small minor details. Like, I get it, but you got to do that a little.
You know what's a bigger minor detail that's not even minor? How are we supposed to honestly believe that Stephanie McMahon does not know why Triple H cost Seth Rollins the title when they share the same bed?
Well, you leave work at work and home at home.
That doesn't come up at breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
I could say something right now.
Listen.
I would say
Stephanie,
this. If you saw the picture of Stephanie McMahon posing for her 40th birthday, you could understand why Triple H might not be thinking about that or might not answer that question.
Yes, but you know what? I mean, in theory, okay, the Stephanie McMahon character should be angry, and if Stephanie McMahon's really angry, okay, if any of us were married to Stephanie McMahon or working for Stephanie McMahon, would you want to get on her bad side?
No, I wouldn't want to get slapped in the face.
No, I think she'd do more than that, okay, if she was really angry in real life.
Some people might enjoy that.
Scott.
I'm just saying.
Scott, you're an adult.
I didn't say I would enjoy it. I'm just saying.
All right, well, all right.
Real quick also with the Cruiserweight match, you like how they changed the ropes to purple?
I did, and the lighting to purple made it feel special. I dig that. I dig it. Although I still can't believe that TJP didn't even debut on Raw. That was ridiculous.
They had to get his theme song set up.
I guess. We had Sheamus and Cesaro, best of 7 series, the final, or so we thought. This was a great match. A really great match. But both guys took each other out from the outside, and they got not counted out, right? They just stopped. They stopped the match.
The referee stopped them. It was the kind of the dusty finish a little bit. They stopped the match. Cesaro was saying, "I can fight with one hand." And by the way, Cesaro almost killed himself twice in this match.
Yeah, there was a lot of spots in this match I just was not a fan of. And just to paraphrase a quote from Danny Cage, who is the trainer of the world-famous Monster Factory, Paulsboro, New Jersey. He's actually trained a buddy of mine, too. He pretty much said, what did he say here? Let me bring up the quote. He talked about dives, and also Blue Meanie, former WWE ECW superstar, who also trains at the Monster Factory.
I think Cesaro trained there a little bit, didn't he?
He might have had,
Sheamus,
he might have had a stop there, but I'm retweeting it now on the Sports Courier account. Here's what he said at the Danny Cage. Tell a story without killing yourself or your opponent. I did not like this pay-per-view because I saw too little of that.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't blame him. You can't blame him at all. And we saw dives in God knows how many matches tonight. We saw it in the main event. We saw it in the Zayn Jericho match. We saw it in the women's match, although the women's match was definitely safer than recent women's matches. We saw, of course, this match with Cesaro. Actually, Kofi Kingston had a big dive as well.
And he almost messed it,
Yeah, it wasn't even like a cross body. It was kind of like Dean Ambrose's flying elbow and a standing person kind of deal. It was like a hip check almost by Kofi Kingston, but instead of having his hip land on Luke Gallows, his hip landed right on the floor.
On the good side, we didn't see the Big E one, unless I missed it.
Oh, the Big E spear through the ropes. Yeah, I don't think we saw that either.
And we didn't see a lot of moves on the hard part of the apron.
The apron, yeah, which is the hardest part of the ring. The whole ring should be hard.
Well, when you're doing it on the LED monitor, there, it's probably worse.
Yeah, true. So yeah, they are going to have another match. There is a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in a month. One would think they keep these guys off Raw. They could do house show matches, whatever, but keep them off Raw. Say, you know what, guys? You're not medically cleared right now. You will be medically cleared come October 30th. Hell in a Cell. It will end there. There must be a winner. What do you think about that one?
Inside Hell in a Cell?
I mean, you might as well. It's a Hell in a Cell themed pay-per-view. You need matches that belong in Hell in a Cell.
Unfortunately, you're devaluing the Hell in a Cell, but I agree.
As if they haven't devalued it already.
No, of course, absolutely.
They once had a pay-per-view with 3 Hell in a Cell matches.
Well, they're going to do it again because I think it's safe to say Roman Reigns and Rusev are going to be in Hell in a Cell.
Oh, my God, yeah. That's some ass-backwards booking, but we'll talk about that in a second. Jericho and Zayn had a kick-ass match. I really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed this. A lot of near falls. Crowd was hot for this.
Interesting finish.
Yeah, there was a technical snafu where Jericho was coming out and then Sami Zayn's music played and then they did the entrance again. And yeah, just the usual great stuff you'd expect from these two. I know some people don't like Jericho winning, and spoiler alert, he did win with the code breaker, but it was good. There was one botch, but Corey Graves did a good job of kind of covering it up. And the commentary in general, I thought was pretty strong all night. I gotta give them the Raw team props. I think a big part of it's Corey Graves. A big part of it is Michael Cole not being overproduced. A big part of it too is these guys being allowed to say the word wrestling. They said wrestling multiple times. It was great. Loved it.
Yeah,
loved it. And yeah, Jericho won with the code breaker. The thing is, while I'm happy Jericho won. While I think he needs to stay winning in order to build up to the eventual breakup with Kevin Owens, which I think will be an awesome match and a great feud, I just don't like it at the expense of Sami Zayn.
Well, that's the interesting part. Jericho puts everybody over and yet doesn't put Sami Zayn over.
Hey, you know what? It's not like he decides.
And they're going to have another match eventually.
Exactly.
Probably tomorrow night on Raw.
Exactly. Everybody's angry about how Jericho's beating Styles this year. He's beating Sami Zayn. He's beating all these guys and blah. You know what, guy? The guys put over everybody. Okay, He's put over everybody. Take away Jericho. Put Roman Reigns in that match. Put Braun Strowman in that match. Put somebody that's a quote-unquote WWE guy in that match, one of Vince's guys. More often than not, Vince is always going to put his guys over. Jericho's one of his guys. That's the thing. They see Sammy as a setup man right now. It is what it is. I don't like it, but it is what it is. I'm happy Jericho won. I think it makes sense in the story. I think his character's been great the last couple months. The drink it in, man. The best friend of Kevin Owens. But again, just not at the expense of Sami Zayn, but that's also the problem with depth. You have very few guys that get a reaction, that get some emotional investment from the crowd. Sami Zayn is one of them, and unfortunately they have to beat him. Luckily, he's one of those guys that you can beat a lot and still get over, but there is going to come a point in time where he has to get that big win. He didn't get it against Kevin Owens, but the follow-up has not been all that great. And if you don't want to put him in the main events right now, even though he could probably be one of your top stars, you know what? What happened to Neville? What happened to that tag team? Why not do Neville versus Zayn? That'd be a great tag team. They could keep both themselves over, both of themselves relevant. They can make the tag team titles even more relevant. But no, we're just going to have New Day do some bad comedy and hold the tag titles again. Who's going to feud to the New Day, by the way?
I don't even know who's on the tag team division.
Ryan Fitzpatrick and Eric Berry?
You're a schmo.
I know. Josh Norman and Odell Beckham. Who's gonna team up and feud with this tag team?
Like our friend Jeremy Bauer said, Cesaro and Sheamus.
Oh God.
I mean, at this point,
if they don't end, I don't really have any interest in this feud continuing. But if they just end the best of 7 like that, can you imagine if Cavs and Warriors just ended in a draw? If Adam Silver just walked in the middle of the court and said, "You know what, guys? LeBron, Steph, I'm tired. Let's go home."
Well, boxing matches end in a draw, so why not? I know.
Jesus. All right.
I'm trying to think who. Honestly, why not just give Owens and Jericho the titles? Make it even more fun. Really.
Actually, I would like that.
Yeah.
I would like that. You know what? That'd be great. Why not? They're a great team. Why not? I dig it. Speaking of teams, where was Enzo and Cass?
Probably checking out the timeshare down in Puerto Rico.
I guess.
Yeah.
Is there a little Italy in Puerto Rico?
If I had a dime for every time somebody asked me that, you know how many dimes I would have right now?
How many?
0 dimes. Or no dimes, either way.
Fair enough.
Yes.
We also had Charlotte versus Sasha versus Bayley for the women's title. Pretty good match. Did not have the heat of some past women's classics, but this was really good. And they did not take too many crazy risks. No real stupid bumps for the most part. Pretty good. And there were a lot of near falls. That's my other complaint about tonight. I don't mind some near falls here and there, but I feel like, and this is the case I think with Jericho. I don't know if Jericho and Zayn, I'd complain about that. I'd say maybe Rusev and Reigns and Charlotte and Sasha and Bayley. Don't you feel like they maybe could have gone home maybe 5 minutes earlier?
Absolutely.
Or a couple minutes earlier. I felt that they did one too many near falls, one too many close calls with the bank statement, with the belly to Bayley. I just feel like it got a little too carried away.
It got a little sloppy at the end.
Yes,
I think it was to the point where enough's enough.
Exactly. And ironically, the finish was kind of sloppy, which involved Dana Brooke.
Which this is going to lead up to Dana Brooke and Charlotte at WrestleMania, so everybody's aware of that.
And it is going to bomb like crazy.
Yeah. Because
Dana Brooke is not the caliber of wrestler as the 3 women that were in the ring. Dana Brooke, you can make the argument, is not the caliber of any of the women on SmackDown.
Now, here's the thing, though, about Dana Brooke. It's funny because it's, just about October. So you have almost 6 months to kind of get her into that shape. And they're not doing it. She doesn't even wrestle at house shows. So how is she going to get this training to have a match like that at WrestleMania? Yeah,
wouldn't you want to call her up because you think she's learned everything she can in NXT and she needs to learn how to get better in the ring? She wasn't terrible in NXT. She was all right, but you got to remember.
She had Emma.
Yeah, she had Emma. Okay, she had great coaches. a lot of the women there lay out their matches and practice and practice and practice in the performance center, which nothing wrong with that. But, when you're in the same spot, when you're not always on the road, when you're able to work with coaches and guys like that and work with all the girls and lay out your match, properly, and you have a veteran like Emma who's awesome in the ring, I mean, you're going to look pretty good. Plus, in NXT, they did everything they could to make her look good. Not just in the ring, but from the presentation. The video packages of all her competitions, the entrance, the promos, everything. Whereas here, she's just a hot chick wearing some awkward singlet who gets slapped around by Charlotte and has bad matches.
And in NXT, didn't she, when she came to the ring, didn't she do like that flip or whatever? Not a flip, but she did it was like a flip.
I don't remember that.
It was on the outside, like as she got up to the ring, she came around to the camera side, like it wasn't like a somersault, but it was like a twirl or something, I believe.
And another thing, we being, say, like just the general WWE audience, still knows nothing about Dana Brooke. Does anybody that hasn't watched NXT know that she's competed in multiple fitness competitions, competed in the Arnold at the same time as being an NXT superstar? Does anybody know that? Does anybody know her fitness background at all? Does anybody know why she chooses to flex? Because she's competed in competitions?
Nope.
We don't know anything about her. As far as like regular fans that don't watch NXT, they know nothing about her. All they know is that she's a chick that's slapped around by Charlotte, that wears some skimpy outfits, and that has bad matches. That's all we know about her, and has some awkward dialogue, and once dressed in a nurse's outfit that looked really awkward in some Gallows and Anderson skit. That's all we know about her.
What they need to do with her is have an injury angle, send her to NXT until about February, do some vignettes around January, hyping her back up, have her come out, and then take out Charlotte and do it that way. Maybe that could work a little bit.
Yeah, but you know what? They should have done that a while ago, and they should have done that a while ago with other guys too. Like, for example, Dolph Ziggler. The fact that Dolph Ziggler is still challenging for the IC title, I know he just lost to The Miz on SmackDown, but like, here's a guy, if you sent him to NXT, if you did video packages every week on SmackDown, building him up, saying, you know what, the Dolph Ziggler redemption tour continues, and he's busting his ass and working his way back up in NXT, and then you call him up around, like, say, Royal Rumble time or something. That's a guy who you could rebuild, if done right. But they didn't do that with Ziggler. They just kind of had him win a few matches here and there, put him in the WWE title match, and they were shocked when nobody cared at SummerSlam when he was challenging for a WWE championship. So, you know what's going to happen at WrestleMania if they do Dana versus Charlotte? I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening because they're going to be shocked. Shocked. Oh my God. How's Dana getting booed? How's the crowd not caring? Why are 80,000 people going to take a piss break right now? Because you gave us no reason whatsoever to care about Dana Brooke. Never mind the fact that she's completely miscast.
Yep. Well, I think, and unfortunately when Emma got hurt, I think that really hurt Dana a lot.
Oh, I agree. But you know what? Then put her in NXT. Or if not, put her in NXT, keep her on house shows. And if not that, then freaking at least tell us a little bit about her.
I'm not disagreeing.
I mean, have you even heard anything about her, like, on commentary? Has anybody even say anything, like any stats about her?
Because she's the Virgil to, Charlotte's Ted DiBiase.
I think we even knew more about Virgil.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
And listen, don't besmirch the good name of Virgil by comparing him to Dana Brooke.
Don't get me started with Virgil.
So,
if you saw him and Scott Hall's little Twitter.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Days ago.
Do I got to see that?
It wasn't nothing big, but it was, Virgil tweeting a picture, 20 years ago today, I was the focal point of the NWO or something like that, or the centerpiece, and Scott Hall just goes, yeah, sure. That's, it's Virgil being Virgil.
Exactly. So, yeah, the finish. We had Dana Brooke interfere multiple times because triple threat matches are no disqualification. And I guess, who'd she try to pull? I don't even remember. She was trying to pull Bayley out or something, or pull Sasha.
I think she got both of them at one point. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me look at my notes here.
It was Sasha on the.
Yeah, I think she pulled Sasha, and then Charlotte, you hit a boot on Bayley, a test big boot, and got the pin. Yeah, this is all right. I wouldn't say a great match, but really good. Not a lot of crazy spots. There was an impressive spot where Charlotte hit the moonsault on both Bayley and Sasha. That was pretty cool.
I was worried.
I was too, but she hit it perfectly.
She hit it perfectly.
Yeah, so it was good. It was good. So not a bad match at all. I don't mind Bayley losing because it leads to the story of her being an underdog and overcoming the odds like in NXT. So we'll see what happens there. We had Rusev Roman Reigns for the U.S. title. Really good match, but nothing we haven't seen before, as in we've seen this match multiple times. They've had some really good and great matches in the past. This was no different. And Roman Reigns got the win with the spear out of nowhere. He kind of like the RKO out of nowhere. But the thing is, he should have gotten the pin sooner. Got the pin, but Lana pulled out the referee. She was sent to the back. Ref says, nope, I ain't disqualifying him. You're being sent to the back. And I felt like after that, they should have had Rusev kick Roman Reigns in the head, which he did, but get the pin, setting up Reigns versus Rusev, Hell in a Cell. Instead, the babyface who's been booked like a heel, humiliating the good, kind, married man for the last 2 months, just gets the pin and wins the U.S. title, which means this feud did absolutely squadoosh for Rusev and Lana.
Which means they will have another match in Hell in a Cell.
And he'll lose again.
More than likely.
Jeez. Can you imagine what would have happened if when they were building up Roman Reigns, they actually had, say, like Roman Reigns end the streak of Rusev back in the day instead of John Cena, or if they had like Seth Rollins or one of those guys end the streak of Rusev? How much it would have done for their careers as opposed to just where Rusev's at right now.
It's amazing, isn't it? Well, yeah. We can talk about John Cena later if you really want.
Yeah. Well,
if you caught Talking Smack with Ambrose, man.
I actually didn't, but
that was a misstyle promo if I ever heard one on Cena, man.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard that, those two may not get along backstage. I don't know, but maybe they just want to play it up for the feud. I know. Well, for those that don't know, for those that don't know, Dean Ambrose pinned John Cena on SmackDown like it was nothing in a 10-minute nothing match.
7 years, yeah.
10 minutes
clean.
10-minute nothing match. What'd you say? First time in what?
7 years.
That Cena's lost clean
on TV. Yep.
Who
I believe it was 09.
Who pinned him?
I believe it was Randy Orton.
That makes sense.
It does.
Really? I mean, I know Tensai beat him a few years ago, but that was with interference. That was sort of clean.
This was straight clean, yeah.
Wow. Just a throwaway match, yeah. Again, making your superstars feel special. John Cena, he's still your biggest star.
That's the point, though, because Ambrose kept going off on him, saying you're just basically a dumb part-timer who doesn't care, and Dean's here. Dean basically said, I main evented the last 5 nights in a row. Where were you at, So
he's essentially pulling the John Cena card that John Cena pulled on The Rock years ago.
Yeah, and he's doing it almost as a heel, but it's working.
Yeah. Well, isn't he technically a heel? He's supposed to be a heel, I guess.
Who, Ambrose?
He turned on John Cena. I mean, I don't know what he is.
Because Cena got on the mic after that and said, the Philly crowd bought out the Dean Ambrose that we all love, and he's not really a heel. Oh. But it was kind of funny, though, because when he came out for the interview on Talking Smack, Renee Young said something like, I have to stay impartial now or something, and it was kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw one clip. Didn't he say, like, he pointed Daniel Bryan, and he says, like, I don't respect, like, your opinion, sometimes I respect yours, like, to...
Something like that,
to Renee. It was some funny line like that, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. You know what? That's going to be one of the main reasons to watch Total Divas, to see Ambrose on there in real life. He seems like a weird dude in real life.
Oh, yeah. I actually like Talking Smack. I've been watching it.
I heard it's really good. I've watched it every now and then, but I just haven't gotten around to this week's episode. We had Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins for the Universal title. Really good match, but something was missing here. Crowd wasn't too hot for it. I think some of the crowd and probably the viewing audience all around the world a little confused on who's exactly the babyface and who's the heel here.
Yeah, a little bit.
They've half-assed Seth Rollins' babyface run, if you even want to call it that. He's still got the same crappy theme music, which is just a guitar riff. And
he's tweeting as a heel, which doesn't help.
Is he really?
Yeah, he tweeted something about Roman Reigns still, yeah. I'd have to go back and look for it, but yeah.
Yeah, well, nobody likes Roman Reigns, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's just he's sort of a heel, and it's been kind of awkward. So yeah, they had a good match, back and forth. Seth Rollins hit the pedigree, but thanks to Chris Jericho, who was at ringside distracting him. Actually, first off, Jericho distracted Rollins at first, but Rollins got out of it. that precarious situation. And then Rollins hit the pedigree, and Rollins went for a pin, but Jericho put Owens' foot on the bottom rope. And then we had a ref bump, chaos, crowd booed. I was getting annoyed. This was already at like the 11 o'clock hour. I was like, all right. I mean, it didn't go too much longer, but still, it was just kind of like, all right. I'm a little tired here. Seth did hit a dive, by the way. He hit multiple dives. Again, not everybody needs to hit a dive in every single match. The more you do it, the more it's not special.
They each did the DX crotch chop as well.
Yes, they did.
And
that was funny.
The ref bump was a very weak bump that apparently knocked the ref out cold for like 20 minutes. So
hey,
go figure.
You know, listen, man, maybe you got paid off. Maybe you got paid off. And yeah, so took forever. Steph finally got a ref out there. Owens hit the pop-up powerbomb, got the pin, celebrated with Jericho, and it looks like it's going to set up maybe Owens versus Rollins in Hell in a Cell, or Owens versus Rollins versus Jericho in Hell in a Cell.
Could be. Now, if go back and watch the tape or the DVR on demand, whatever you want to call it, right after the pin, the camera shoots to Stephanie, and she has a look on her face like she just screwed Rollins and she knows it. And it was kind of like that smirky authority look. It's a real brief split-second look. Go back. I don't know if you can bring it up on Twitter, maybe not.
Well, you know,
she had that little look on her face, like, yeah, I did this, you know? Like you can kind of see it coming.
Well, she tried to motivate Owens and Rollins earlier backstage with Foley. Yep. Both kind of told her off. Owens said that he's going to show he's Triple H's choice and why he is the main event, and Rollins just said, I don't want to hear it. And what I find interesting is the lack of crowd reaction throughout that main event. I mean, they did pop in some spots and everything. They did chant, "This is awesome," but it didn't have the heat of like a real main event level match. You know what I mean? But I came to a conclusion as to why. That's what happens when the storyline that's supposed to revolve around the championship revolves around Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. And where's Triple H been? Not been on TV for a few weeks. Is he even going to be on TV the whole football season? Is he going to come back around WrestleMania time? I don't know, but lack of crowd heat, besides the fact that Rollins has been a half-assed babyface, I think it's because of Triple H. They built it around Triple H. They didn't deliver on why Triple H helped Kevin Owens. Makes no sense to me. But I do think it'll be a cool storyline to have Jericho, Owens, and Rollins in a triple threat match. And I think it's going to be pretty cool if, say, Jericho accidentally pins Rollins, wins the title, and sets up a big match. Perhaps, actually, you could do that.
Well, no, if you're going to do that, put Sami Zayn in the match, let him take the pin. Make it a 4-way. Why not?
Actually, you know what? They could do that. Yeah, they could do that. We're a triple threat. But what I'm saying is have Jericho in that match win the title, right?
Yeah.
And then you do Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho in the main event of Survivor Series in Toronto. The first Toronto pay-per-view in WWE in like a decade.
I like it.
Yeah, in the main event. I think it'd be awesome.
Problem is, WWE wouldn't like it because the crowd would be going crazy and WWE wouldn't know what to do with it.
Wouldn't they want the crowd to go crazy?
Well, yeah, but again, hey, do that. Add Sami Zayn. Make it a triple threat. I know he's not at that level right now, but he's still there. He's got the history with Kevin Owens. He's got the feud with Jericho.
Yeah, but then you're going to be doing 2 back-to-back,
All right, we'll save him for Survivor Series. But no, I think a one-on-one would be better.
Yeah.
But, this way you have... that would actually be a perfect time to give Sami Zayn the title, too.
In Toronto?
If you were to do it in Toronto at Survivor Series against Jericho and Kevin Owens, my goodness.
That would be huge, but, they need to do something big, I think, for Survivor Series. I think that the fact that they have not 1, not 2, but 3 top Canadian stars on Raw, like they need to do something special for Canada. And honestly, it would make all those guys look like much bigger stars too, because that crowd's gonna be hot.
Yep. And right now, let's be honest, it doesn't matter with Monday Night Football. It doesn't matter what they do. Raw's going to draw bad ratings, so why not?
Yeah, I mean, they could try to improve the show, but yeah, I know what you mean.
But it's not going to matter. I mean, they could right now, by WWE logic, Kevin Owens is the reason why they're drawing what they're drawing, so.
Yeah. Although I don't think that's fair either. I think
No, of course it's not fair.
Yeah. So overall, I'd say a thumbs in the middle pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was a good show. It was watchable, but it was just kind of what it was.
Yeah, I know. I feel mentally fatigued, and I know Sky on Twitter, she certainly agrees with us. So let's get to some questions and comments before we head on out of here. Mr. Racer 1029 says Chris Jericho's a stupid idiot. Kobe Hanshaw says, nah, he's the best thing on Raw. He's one of the best things on Raw.
Speaking of Mr. Racer, real quick, last night in Chicago, past midnight now, so Saturday night, house show in Chicago, we had Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar 2. In 6 minutes, Brock Lesnar hit the F5 and pinned Randy Orton, and that was that.
Yeah.
So nothing exciting, but it did happen. And Mr. Racer also says that the end of Survivor Series is going to be Raw versus SmackDown, so that would be interesting.
Yeah. Like the good old day. I don't know if that's the good old days, Mr. Racer.
Huh.
Okay, Dan Foster says he's happy that AJ Styles and Kevin Owens won pay-per-view main events. That I am happy with. Let's see. Steven Shaw says if they do Dana versus Charlotte at Mania, it would be a huge step back for women's wrestling. It'd be a huge step back for wrestling, period.
Well,
I mean, who knows? Maybe Dana can surprise us, but she needs to improve. She needs to get better. At the very least, she needs to get better in the ring. If they're not going to improve her character, she's got to at least improve in the ring and put in the work and get better.
Put her in tag matches or do something. They got to do something with her.
Yeah.
She's not even on like superstar, nothing.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good point. Holiday 197. I'd also like to see Kevin Owens versus Zayn at WrestleMania for the Universal Title inside Hell in a Cell to resolve their feud. I don't think they're going to do that, but that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Loser must go to SmackDown. Way to make the SmackDown brand look even worse.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
The sad part is SmackDown's probably the better show right now than Raw.
What?
It's probably the better show.
Yeah, I think so. It's easier to watch.
It is. Well, yeah.
Significantly easier to watch.
Much easier, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And real quick, let's give props to Alexa Bliss, by the way, on SmackDown, because she's doing a heck of a job in her role right now.
Yeah, her and Becky Lynch had a nice contract segment signing. It was really good, and it's just kind of funny because she's this like little girl, and she's telling Becky that she doesn't look like a champion. And I know some people maybe took it the wrong way, but at the end of the day, she's a heel. It's not like she's calling Becky ugly. I mean, Becky's gorgeous, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was just more like kind of like a heel like thing to say, and it was, I don't know, it was very well done.
Yeah.
Very well done, knocking the table over Becky. The only thing I didn't like was Becky chasing her afterwards. I think it would have been more effective if Becky like teased like her leg or ankle being injured, and that led up to the match. But
the
it was,
shock of it, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a really good match. I mean, a really good segment, and I think they'll have a pretty good match. So that was pretty good. As far as everything else that's going on in WWE land, I mean, yeah, that was that Ambrose match was still shocking to me.
Yeah.
And they really need to keep John Cena special. They really do. Or else you know what? If they do more jobs like that with John Cena, that guy might just say, you know what? I love WWE. I'll still do all the public relations stuff, but maybe I don't want to wrestle that much anymore.
Yeah.
Usos beating American Alpha. Wasn't a fan of American Alpha losing, but you know what? Chad Gable sold very well. They could lead up to a rematch, and Usos are now the number one contenders at No Mercy, I believe on October 8th, taking on Heath Slater and Rhino. For those that don't know, Cena, Ambrose, and AJ Styles are going to have a triple threat match at No Mercy. But just a couple weeks before No Mercy, we're going to have this Tuesday on SmackDown, Ambrose versus AJ Styles for the world title.
That's going to be interesting.
It is. I really hope they don't give Ambrose the title back yet, and I really hope John Cena doesn't win his 16th on some B pay-per-view. Or C pay-per-view, for that matter.
Well, at this point, none of the pay-per-views would be in C. Cena's supposed to be going to go film, what is that, American Grid again?
Yes.
So, but then I heard a rumor that Ambrose might be taking time off. So
that was a BS rumor from a BS site. I didn't see it from
It was, okay.
So
I didn't read it from a site, but I saw some things on Twitter or
yeah,
something.
no,
So, okay.
Dave Schneider sent it to me. He asked if this is legit. I asked a few people, and Dean Ambrose may be taking time off, but until I see it from somebody that's actually pretty credible, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
So
Dan Foster asked, why not put Nia Jackson the Dana feud, the Dana spot? It really wouldn't make a difference at this point.
Yeah. Plus,
That's
Charlotte's a bigger, muscular girl. I think it would be a better visual. You know what? It would have been better if Ava Marie was on SmackDown and not suspended. If they brought Nia Jax with her, or you know what? It would be better if Alexa Bliss had Nia Jax. I think that dynamic would be great. But be like the Shawn Michaels to her Diesel. But
interesting, yeah.
I don't think that's gonna
imagine
happen.
that Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss match. Ooh.
Well, they are good friends in real life, so maybe they'd have a decent match.
Just the visual, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be interesting.
Man, that would be interesting.
It would be. All right, let's see a few more here, and then we'll head out. What do you think about the Wyatt family versus Randy Orton feud? It's been pretty terrible.
Really the Wyatt family. It's an interesting, It's not really the Wyatt family, but it is. Yeah,
it's not interesting. It's pretty terrible.
It's
pretty
right now. Anything Bray Wyatt's in, unfortunately, is pretty terrible. That's the problem.
Yeah. Fred, do you have any updates on Matt Seidel, aka former WWE Tag Team Champion Matt Bourne? Yes, Matt Bourne was somewhat missing incognito the last few days. Yeah, like 3 or 4 days. He didn't make a few bookings, and people got worried, but he said he just ran into passport issues and was chilling in Hawaii. So,
not a bad place to be.
Not a bad place to be, but you'd think you'd let some of these independent companies know. But maybe he did. I don't know. I mean, there were a lot of rumors going around, but thankfully, he is safe and sound. So that is all that matters. Okay, let's see here. As far as anything else that's going on, TNA, there was a recent story in the New York Post about how they're on sale for $40 million. I almost said 48. Jesus. They're not on sale for $40 million. Okay.
WCW was bought for what, $2 million?
$2.5 million, and they could have been sold for a lot more the year before. They were actually sold, but they were idiots. So yeah, TNA is on the market. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows who's going to step in? Either way, like WWE programming, I'm very fatigued about these TNA sale talks. I don't care. I care obviously because I have some friends in the company, but I don't care in a sense that like. It's hard for me to take things seriously until it actually happens. We had the PR move of Billy Corgan putting in some money and becoming the president. I mean, I guess Dixie's technically out, but she's still kind of in the picture. I don't know. I would like to see some stability come TNA's way, but it's getting to the point, man, where it's just like they may have Bound for Glory, they may have a few more shows, but they really need to right this ship and get things on track. Either get a financial backer or just, I don't know, you're going to go away.
Well, from what I heard, they need to get money to do their next set of TV tapings after Bound for Glory. So
yeah.
See how that goes. If Vince bought them, he would just shut the company down.
Yeah.
They've already rated talent. I mean, Samoa Joe, Eric Young, Bobby Roode.
And they could get some more talent. And
there's some talent there, sure.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, let's be honest here. Outside of a few select people in the company, is anybody there really making significant money? You know what I mean? I mean, I think Bennett and Marie are getting really good money. I think EC3 is getting really good money.
I would assume the Hardys are
Hardys for sure, I think, are doing very well for themselves. But, as far as like some of the other guys, like the X Division guys, I would imagine they're not making a whole lot of money. I mean, at the end of the day,
Galloway's got to be doing decent.
James Storm's doing really well for himself. So he got. I mean, I guess you do have a few guys and girls that are making some pretty good money by pro wrestling standards, but there's a lot of other people that kind of just scraping by. They kind of are just hoping to get paid, and they got the national exposure. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if there's like 10 people on guaranteed good money deals or 100 people. It's still another place for wrestlers to work, and it would be sad if it went out of business. But I'm just looking at the situation. It's got to be, I don't know, got to be anxiety filled for some of these guys. To just not know if your next paycheck's going to come, hearing all these sale rumors and everything. They have a very hardworking roster. I hope everything works out. I really do, because their show's been pretty good.
And Dan Foster just mentioned that's true. Cody is now in TNA.
Oh yeah, Cody Rhodes. Yeah,
making some good coin.
He is going to be. He's going to be debuting at Bound for Glory, and they signed his wife, Brandy Rhodes,
to be a knockout.
That's going to be interesting if she can actually. Well, I think they're going by the old WWE model of just hiring hot chicks that may or may not be able to wrestle.
Figure it out later.
Yeah, I don't think that's very good. But yeah, Brandy seems to be working hard. She's the wife of wrestling royalty. Maybe she'll work out.
Jeremy Bauer says the Broken Hardys versus the Wyatts would be entertaining.
It would be. And there's been reports that WWE's interested in bringing back Matt Hardy, which would be phenomenal. But Matt Hardy's still under contract with TNA, and he could essentially make his own schedule. He's doing very well for himself. He doesn't need the WWE, or he doesn't need a full-time schedule to make the money he's making right now.
He's older. He's a family man, right? I mean,
Exactly.
TNA, you work, a couple days every couple months and do some independence when you want, and yeah.
And look, say what you want about Matt Hardy. I've said a lot of negative things about Matt Hardy in the past and some of his exploitative aspects of his marketing in the past, but that was obviously when he had a lot of crap going on. But these days, knock on wood, it seems like he's doing very well. Seems like he's healthy. Seems like he's clean. And, he's marketed himself brilliantly. Him and his brother, they really have. So, outside of WWE as well. So, you got to give them their props. Got to give them their props here. And, okay, we'll take one more question real quick, and I'll defer. Actually, two more things. Stephen Shaw, who does a lot of sports work in Wheeling, West Virginia, says Cena's going to be at the house show I'm working on in West Virginia tomorrow. Nice, Stephen. Let us know how that goes. Coach Ostner. Fred, why no Enzo and Cass? I was appalled.
From what I heard, it was just the layout of the show. No time.
Yeah, but didn't the pre-show start like an hour earlier?
Yeah, not going to waste them on a pre-show. But you know what? It's okay not to have them on the show just for the fact I told you this before. Their gimmick is going to get played out quick if they're not careful. It will. It absolutely will. Because these guys, they're going to run out of things to do, and it's just going to get gimmicky, and it's not going to be good. So I think not having them on every single show is okay.
I would have thought them do a promo at least. They could have woke up that crowd, dude.
Yeah, a promo, yeah. Well, but they didn't. So whatever.
They could have woke up that crowd. That's all I gotta say. Russ Hype Bros, the club needs to be traded to SmackDown for the Wyatts. I don't know about that, but yeah. Holiday 197, main event was a mess. Match was good, but I don't know why Triple H didn't appear. The ending was faulty, and Zayn should have come out, like you said, Scott, and attacked Jericho if the two are going to continue a feud. That I do agree with. Okay, what else do we got here? Dan Foster says this is already played out. I saw one question here I wanted to get to. Oh, yeah, I'll defer this to you, Scott. Thoughts on Arnold Palmer and Jose Fernandez?
Yeah, I actually wanted to mention that. I woke up this morning and went to check fantasy football and saw Jose Fernandez died, and definitely a shock. 24 years old. The guy was on his way to stardom for sure. Mm-hmm. Very sad, very tragic story. I hate to say this, but my question is, why the heck are you out on a boat at almost 4 a.m? I know it's a Saturday night and all, but
you know what? I mean,
weird. Look, I'm not saying there was anything suspicious going on.
No, you know what though? I mean, let's put it this way: you were 24 once, I was 24 once. We all do some fun things when.
I'm not a Major League Baseball player making millions either.
Oh no, but still,
and look, I know things happen, but. It's just kind of like sometimes you got to be smarter than that. Unfortunately,
I just think I just think it sucks. It's just a crappy situation, and I think we all, when we're in our 20s, do a lot of things that might be considered a little risky. Whether we have a 6-figure job, 7-figure job, 5-figure job, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's not, there's a lot of speculation as to what happened.
Heard it was a high speed when they hit the rocks and all. So
yeah, I just think, I mean, when I saw
no drugs or alcohol right now, which is good.
I just saw the detail when they didn't have life vests. That was, I mean, look,
didn't have them on anyway.
If you had that kind of impact, I mean, who the hell knows if a life vest is even going to help you, right?
I saw the boat. It didn't look good.
It's just tragic. You feel like it could be avoided. It's just heartbreaking. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, it's another one gone too soon.
It is, and what breaks my heart too is that I know a lot about the kid. I mean, you follow baseball a lot closer than I do, but just seeing the news. It's on Instagram the week before his wife's pregnant.
Yes.
Just man, it's
tough.
That sucks. So if anybody's watching this right now, listening to this, or just vaguely familiar with the story, I mean, just. Life's precious, man. Just take it easy. Be careful. And look, things can happen. You could get killed walking across the street. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes stuff just happens. So just, be thankful for what you got. Make the most out of life. And he certainly, for the short time he's on the earth, made a positive impact. And one of my old classmates at Rutgers and Fieldboro High School, Tariq Pierce, who's a producer for the Miami Heat, he actually went with Justice Winslow to a Marlins game, I think a week or so ago, and actually filmed these two guys interacting. I mean, the irony of that, right? You just
don't know.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. So our deepest condolences to his family, and Arnold Palmer, the king of golf, passing away too. An icon in golf.
Heard there was some heart issues he had, so yeah.
87 years old, lived a long life, just a true icon. I mean, one of the most likable athletes and everything. I mean, he was a little before my time, but even I'm familiar with him. If you're vaguely familiar with the American sports world, I think you might have heard the name Arnold Palmer at one point. And just, yeah, man, just 2016. It's been a decent year as far as wrestling goes. AJ Styles wins the title. Kevin Owens wins the title. But it has absolutely sucked when it comes to deaths. Prince, China, David Bowie. I mean, my God. I kind of want this year to end already, man.
There was a rumor, and Mr. Racer just posted it as well, that Seth Rollins might have been injured a little bit in his match tonight versus Kevin Owens.
Jeez, now that's obviously not at the scale of what we're talking about here, but that's
no. I just want to.
Oh no, yeah, I just saw that too. Let me.
Yeah, no, with Arnold Palmer, I mean, he's the greatest golfer ever, no doubt about that. Definitely a surprise, no matter what. I don't care how old you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it comes in threes, so that's the unfortunate part there. And there's 2 in one day.
Jeez, yeah, I know.
It's tough. And the Marlins, right in the middle of a playoff chase, a long shot, but they still had a shot at it. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. All right. Let me just. I'm trying to see. Oh, you know what? It may have happened with the gut buster.
Off the top rope. It looked a little bad when it happened.
I mean, he might have injured his ribs. I mean, granted, if rib injury is not the same as like a torn ACL. And him destroying his knee.
No.
But still, yeah. A lot of guys are already banged up. But, folks, we're going to get on out of here. Hope you enjoyed this recap. I know it's been about a week and a half since I've been on. Just, a lot of things going on. But I just want to tell you what you can expect from TSC. First off, if you haven't subscribed to my other YouTube channel, youtube.com/TSC Gaming, you can check out all my video game updates. I just uploaded reviews of The Huntsman and Winter's Curse and Batman, the Telltale Series Episode 2. Tomorrow night, sometime around the time that Hillary and Donald will be debating about their huge plans to build a wall and make America great again, I will be uploading our NBA 2K17 review. I got the game a little later than I got it the last couple of years, so apologies for that. But our in-depth NBA 2K17 game review will be available on youtube.com/TSC Gaming. I will also have an impressions video up of Destiny, Rise of Iron. And of course, in just a couple weeks, WWE 2K17, you better believe we're going to have wall-to-wall coverage of that. If you are in the New York, New Jersey area, come October 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, or maybe you're traveling to that area, I will be in attendance covering New York Comic-Con. If you happen to be there, Julian Cannon, a few other people, I know you're going to be there who watch this show, please don't hesitate to hit me up. Would love to meet some of you guys, kick it with some of you guys, maybe even interview some of you guys. Be a whole lot of fun, but that's all I got for tonight. As for this week, we'll probably do some recap either Tuesday night or Wednesday night, recapping all the latest in Raw and Smackdown. If you enjoyed this recap, please share, take care. A little rusty, folks. If you want to check out our podcast, soundcloud.com/TSC News. You can also search TSC News on iTunes and Google Play. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates. Scott, any last words?
I am good, sir.
Really? That's it?
I'm a man of few words.
All right. Anything you want to say to Ryan Fitzpatrick, American football quarterback who threw a record 6 interceptions in a game?
I would like to say that Raw tomorrow night should be good. I'm going to avoid what you just asked me. And hopefully we can do this again during the week if my autograph seekers will leave me alone at dinner.
All right. Well, I'll be watching Raw. I'll be watching the debates, which might be more pro wrestling than pro wrestling on Monday night. Until next time, everybody. Woo! As always, enjoy the matches.